In studio right now is Stephen Wells, our first time to have him in studio. You're in Rome this morning, right? Or were or are?
We are, a little bit later.
All right. So, good morning. Thanks for making it in.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So, tell us, you're getting into the home stretch. The primary is just around the corner. It looks like we do have a couple of debates. I know that we have one confirmed here. How are you feeling at this point?
Good. I'm looking forward to the debates.
Yeah. And your thoughts on, I had a question, and some of the commercials obviously are now running pretty heavily. And I've always wondered why, I think one of your commercials quotes Claudia Tenney as being an Albany insider. How is that? Because I see her as the complete opposite of the insider, not getting along with certain members there in Albany. How do you call her an insider?
Well, she's an insider in the sense, Bill, that she's been there for, 6 years, and before that, another 6 years as chief of staff. She's been there a dozen years. She's been in Albany and essentially got nothing done. I mean, if you look at her record, which is what hopefully we're going to talk about in these debates, is each of our records, what we've accomplished. And, look at her record. She's never passed one bill yet.
Yeah.
So 6 years of no accomplishments.
And she challenges that. She says, well, I have passed a lot of bills, and because she's in the minority, she says that the only way to get it done is sometimes to put somebody else's name on it, a Democrat's name. How do you respond to that?
Well, let's look at and see what she's actually passed. I mean, look, she's missed 480 votes in 2014. So far this year, she's already missed, I think it's 55 votes. She doesn't show up for work. I mean, in my line of business, you get fired.
Yeah. And what would you do differently? How do you and let's say you were in the assembly and you're Claudia Tenney in her position. What would you be doing differently? Some of the things that you feel she has done beyond the showing up for work issues, because her answer to that is her mom died and her son had graduated.
Well,
what
with all due respect, her mom died, I believe, in 2015. Okay, that has nothing to do with the 55 votes this year. It has nothing to do with over 500 votes. The third worst record in the assembly in the prior year, 2014. So look, number one is you got to show up for work. Number two is you got to be able to get along with your fellow people that you work with. I mean, if you can't get along, how are you going to get anything done? And certainly that's true, as deadlocked as it is down in Washington, and that's what we're running for here, the Congress. Yeah. You're going to have to get along at the very least with other upstate New York members of Congress to get stuff moving forward. The Signal has done, it's an online newspaper, has done interviews with everybody, and I think you as well. They've interviewed Kim Myers, the Democrat. She spoke very highly of Richard Hanna. Talk about your feelings on how Richard Hanna has done in Congress. Well, I'm a personal friend with Mr. Hanna, so we've gotten along well. He's very thoughtful. I talked to him for a long time, in particular about this Iran issue, and ultimately his vote before it took place on the Joint Comprehensive Plan, better known as the Iran deal. Yeah. And he was very thoughtful about it, and ultimately I believed he came to the right conclusion that it was bad for the country, and I appreciated his vote on that. And I've known Mr. Hanna now for a couple of years. We talked quite a bit about defense issues. He made news on this program, as a matter of fact, made quite a lot of news over the issue of the Benghazi hearings, and it really said that this was just it was a witch hunt, and it's been repetitive and been done over and over, and he got a lot of criticism for that. How do you feel about those comments, and would you feel the same way? Look, I'm not, like I said, I'm a friend. Yeah. I think what Hillary Clinton, there's a lot to be. And the email stuff, of course, came out yesterday. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't end, quite frankly. It doesn't end. And, and ultimately, so if you're going to ask me who I'm going to be supporting, it's clearly going to be our nominee, because I think the other side, whether it ends up being Clinton or even worse, the socialism of Bernie Sanders, which is ultimately one of the major reasons why I'm running for Congress. Yeah. We're going down the wrong road, Bill. Okay. She's Claudia Tenney has talked about your pay to play is what she's calling it. And I think there was a $10,000 donation that was made through the company. She says it's you're the head of the company. Respond to that charge. Yeah, well, look, first of all, I'm proud of... They're calling you a Cuomo supporter or Cuomo... Yeah, well, she's an expert at name calling. I understand that. Okay. And, it's got a log track record of calling people's names. I don't think that's going to work so well in Washington. But as far as the donations go, I'm happy to to talk about all the donations that I've done, which by and large have been over 95% to Republicans. And so, look, saying pay to play, I mean, I'm not sure what that's supposed to infer. It sounds to me like something that's illegal. Okay.
Right.
But what she's saying is she doesn't know what she's talking about, okay, because pay to play infers something that's illegal. My company has 4 contracts with the state, which are to provide vending machines at state prisons. They were public bids, okay? We won. We were the lowest bid, and we actually pay the state. So we're not getting money for the state. We're paying the state.
Right.
We're paying the state over $250,000 a year. So I just think that politicians who, like Claudia Tenney, that throw around those kind of words are totally irresponsible.
Go ahead, John.
Just to clarify, though, obviously that is a deal that benefits you. You're not putting in a bid so that you can pay the state $250,000. There has to be on your end. You have to be making money.
I'm sure.
Yeah, of course. But we pay rent or commissions to the state to have our machines there. So we bid on the pricing of our products and the machines and how much we're willing to pay back to the state, and how the state spends that money or wastes that money. It's up to the state of New York. But we bid these. These were public bids. There's no. These weren't sweetheart contracts or no bid contracts. So it's just irresponsible to throw around a term like that. It's one, it's false, and 2, it's irresponsible.
And you're saying your company was the lowest bidder.
Yeah, we won. These are public bids.
Right.
I mean, these are
right. It's funny because I had asked and took issue with one of the things that Assemblywoman Tenney said concerning you, and it was about this. The fact that you have government contracts, and she, I believe, if I recall correctly, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but it basically said that because you're in business and you have these government contracts, that you probably shouldn't be running for Congress. So I'll ask you on the other side, if you read any of the published materials that come out of Claudia's campaign, she calls herself a small business owner. How do you respond to that charge, and is it the pot calling the kettle black?
Yeah, well, first of all, the amount of work that we do for the government is less than 1/2%. It's a largely an irrelevant amount for our business, okay?
Yeah.
Less than 1/2%. I don't know. She can come in here in the debate and talk and try to defend about what she's done for her business or not. I see her listed as the corporate counsel. And I don't know any business in America with 75 employees that has a general counsel. So she can explain herself why they need a full-time lawyer in a printing business with 75 employees. I'll be interested to hear that explanation.
Could you also tell me that why it is when I get this soda out of our vending machine, it's warm. It's not.
It's not
cold.
mine. You don't have my machines here.
That's a good point. We don't, and it is cold. It's not cold. I don't understand.
You got to change your machines.
Got to change it out. All right, we'll do some more here. So sit tight. We're coming right back. Stephen Wells in studio, running for Congress. It's 8:21 at WIBX.